Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jay Larone, and you guys, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and also share this out with anybody who you think might be interested in this type of content. And today we're going to talk about the 31-year-old woman who got pregnant by the 13-year-old boy. And in this video, man, we all heard about it already that she was pregnant, so she got pregnant, and I think she worked out a deal to where she doesn't have to do any jail time. I mean, for one thing, I mean, we all know what the deal is on that, right? And we also, know that these women out here are just wilding. Basically, I mean, how many times have we heard about these grown women messing with these boys that are in high school or junior high or elementary school even? I mean, if they're teenagers, these women are messing with them, and these women are pretty much in their 30s. And they're getting with these little boys from the time they're 12, 13 up until they're 15 or 16. And and this woman is pregnant. And I think in a case that happened some years ago, we know about the woman who was messing with this dude in high school. He thinks about 15 or 16. I think she got pregnant. She wound up going to jail. I think she had the baby. And long story short, I think when she got out, her and the boy wind up living together because by the end he was over 18. But somehow things didn't work out. And now I think he's paying child support. I mean, that's crazy. From a woman that was messing with you when you weren't even old enough to, you weren't old enough to consent. Basically, I mean, you was like 14 or 15 years old, and this woman, you know, molested you. And the same thing has happened here. This woman is 31 years old and she molested a 13-year-old, and now she's pregnant. And probably the same thing is going to happen with this. When he's 18, he might get put on child support over something that he really didn't know what he was getting into, had no idea what was going on. Y'all women are ruining these young men's lives, man, and y'all don't realize it. But all because y'all something's deeply rooted inside of you that you feel like you have to, mess with a young boy. All right, let's go ahead and get into this video. This is the Crimson Cure again, and she's going to be talking about it. All right, y'all hold tight. Go ahead and share this.
We're going to get into this because this is outrageous. No jail time for woman 31 who admitted to assaulting a boy 13 and having his child. Okay, a 31-year-old U.S. woman who admitted having sex with a 13-year-old boy and becoming pregnant with his baby has avoided jail time. Andrea Serrano of Fountain, Colorado, was facing assault charges after her arrest in 2022, but reached a plea deal with prosecutors to stay out of prison. Serrano gave birth to the baby boy after admitting having relations or raping that 13-year-old whose mother has now slammed the deal, saying her son's life has been ruined. I feel like my son is robbed of his childhood, she told the news station. This is the chick here. This is the nasty, gross little chick that assaulted a 13-year-old boy. Anyways, now he's having to be a father. He's a victim and he's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking more. I feel like because he's not a woman, they are not. They are having compassion for her. Under the terms of the plea deal, Serrano must register as an offender and she could face 10 years to life on offender intensive supervised probation. A whoop, big whoop. According to the report, Serrano will find out in May how long she will be on probation. The district attorney office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
So she's getting no jail time, but she's on probation and she's going to have to register on the sex offenders list. So we already know that's just because she's a woman. Like Crimson said, if she was on the other foot, The dude would be thrown up under the jail. Everybody would be in outrage. All the women would be, see, we told you about men. I told you men ain't no good. But yeah, but like I said, just cause she's a woman, she gets off on this. And she ain't the only one. It's been plenty of women getting lesser charges for crimes that should, what I'm saying, they should get the book thrown at them. But like I said, they get all this leniency, and that's why they keep going and doing the same shit over and over again.
KTV reports the victim's family plans to ask the court to give the 13-year-old custody of the baby, which is currently in Serrano's custody. Okay. Now we're gonna stop sharing. Now there have been other reports. There hasn't been a whole lot said on any article more than that, except in one article I did read that how she even got access to that boy was that she was living with them. She was living with the mom and the little boy. And at some point he viewed her as like a mother figure type, like, an auntie or something, not a girlfriend. So I don't know, no.
She's a predator. That's what that is. That's all that is. That's just her being a predator. For whatever reason, the mom let this woman stay with them, and for her to see that little boy as somebody that she could, manipulate and mold, like she said, mold and do all this stuff to, and to get him into having sex with her. That's predatory, man. And there's too many women out there like that.
Report that I ran into states what the relation is, if she's just a family friend that they was letting stay, or whatever the case might have been. They're not really saying how she's related or anything other than that's how she got access to that young boy. And apparently she manipulated him into a molestation situation, and there had to be some sort of coercing or something that she did to that 13-year-old boy, and then she got pregnant by him. She's not gonna get any jail time because she's a woman. Make no mistake, it's because she's a woman that she was able to even enter into a plea deal that included no jail time. The fact that that deal was even on the table from anybody's perspective is atrocious. Because had she been a man, no court would have offered any sort of plea deal like that at all. Not one that didn't include any jail time at all. Oh, no, you're gonna serve something.
Right, and like that's what I said before. Just because she's a woman, she gets a slap on the wrist. But if a man did that, yeah, they'd thrown him up under the jail. He wouldn't be no consideration of any type of leniency, no consideration of getting out on probation and just being put on a sex offenders list. It wouldn't have been any of that. It would have been straight. We're gonna lock him up, throw away the key.
Because you have assaulted a young little girl and ruined her life and got her pregnant or something. Had the shoe basically been on the other foot, we would have seen something else. This actually ties into what we were talking about when I was on Anton's panel. When we were on Anton's panel and we were talking about the assault, and we were talking about women being sexual predators on little boys. And while this one isn't a Black woman, the concept between what we were talking about on that panel and this is actually parallel, because we've got a society that has demonized men so much, especially demonized their sexuality so much, that this story shares a twofold situation. Number one, it's telling us that only men can truly be sexual predators. That when women are sexual predators, it's not that bad. And the court is telling the victim's family and the victim that it's not that bad by, spitting in their faces and giving her a slap on the wrist and saying you can just register as an offender, and be on probation for some time, but you don't have to actually face any jail time, because the message here is what you did not that bad. Okay. The other message is, first of all, like I said, women can't really be sexual predators. And that's coming from the concept that women don't have phalluses. So we can't penetrate nobody, right? Naturally speaking.
We doing that. Another thing, man, is like when women, like she was saying, if the shoe's on the other foot, like I said, she don't. They think that, like I said, when men do stuff like that to women, of course that's bad, right? And the men, they do give them a harsher sentence, and everything. But when it, like she's about to say now, when women do it to guys, it don't seem to be that bad because, like they say, a woman can't really penetrate a guy, you know. So when a woman does that type of molestation or something to a guy or to to a male, they don't see it as that bad. You know what I mean? Because in society we're raised to where, if you're a guy, and even if you're 13, 14, 15 years old and you happen to sleep with the older woman, then that's a big up to you. You know, oh, dude, you got you some, you got you went and you got it from an older woman. You know what I mean? But they don't realize, they think that's something to be proud of. But in reality, as a kid at that age, you don't know what you're doing. It still messes you up. You know what I mean? And then for it to be an older woman coming on to you, grooming you into that situation, it does something to you. Like in the movie Anton Fisher, saw how his life was. He became overly aggressive because he didn't know how to to handle what had happened to him. He couldn't sleep. He was having these nightmares and stuff. And then the fact that he was always getting into these fights, over nothing, over little stuff. You know what I mean? Stuff that, stuff you shouldn't be getting into fights over. But because he had that pent up aggression over what happened to him, he was always getting into these fights. And, he didn't really trust women, you know. So, and that's what happens when you do that to a child at that age. A lot of them don't know how to handle it, and they don't know how to process that emotionally or mentally. They don't know how to process it. So a lot of them will be overly aggressive. A lot of them will get into fights for no reason because they don't. It's all that's pent up. So when they're fighting, they're not fighting per se to because of that person said something to them. They're just taking it out on that person because they got all this aggression from the trauma that they had when they were young. So if somebody come at them the wrong way, they just going to start fighting without even thinking. It's crazy, but and that's what they do to these young men when they do that to them, man. It messes them up, and it takes them a while. It takes them, till they get a whole lot older, and a lot of them don't even, get any help. So a lot of them wind up in jail. Like with Anton Fisher, he could have wound up in jail. Even though he went to the Navy, he could have wound up, kicked out of the Navy, in jail, in the Navy, then get out and still be locked up somewhere else. And, his life could have went a totally different route. But yeah.
We don't have anything that penetrates anybody. So only penetration is great. According to a gynocentric, gynocratic, feminist society that we live in, only penetration can be great. Correct? So because women don't have any natural biological way to penetrate anybody with any sexual organ that we have, we can't actually grape nobody. We can't actually grape nobody. We can't actually sexually assault nobody. That's what it's saying. It's also saying that boys cannot be assaulted. That if you are a young boy, you can't be raped. You can't be molested. Like it's not possible to sexually assault a young boy. It's not. That's what it's saying. If you don't penetrate him somehow, he can't be assaulted. The only way that a young boy can actually be a victim of molestation is if the predator is male. But if the predator is female, then somehow this gets a pass and it's seen as not a big deal because
Yeah, and that's a that's a bad, like, double standard. You know what I mean? It's like Just because you're a male, you can't be, like you say, molested or raped unless it's by another male. You know, I mean, that is a form of it, but like I said, you can't. The way they're saying is that since she's a female, there's no way that she can, grape a male, which we know is wrong. But by them letting her go like that, by them giving her probation and no jail time, that's the sentiment that they're putting out there. It's like you're a female, you can do this to a male. You get a slap on the wrist, but just don't do it again. Is basically what they're saying. But we all know that push come to shove, she'll probably be back in a situation where she'll be around a young man again. Even though that she's supposed to be registered on the sex offenders list, but still, if she was to do it again, I'm pretty sure it'd be just another slap on the wrist. They constantly let these women keep getting away with stuff, man. It's ridiculous, and that's why they have this mentality of who go check me, who go stop me. Everything is designed for them to get a slap on the wrist. So and then again, I bring it back to the passport bros, man. That's why they getting up out of here. Why would you want to be with a woman who might be psychologically damaged like that, to where she wants to mess with a young boy? You're that twisted and thrown off, or you're that twisted and thrown off that you want to crash your vehicle into a Popeye's chicken over a biscuit. It doesn't make any sense. Another woman at McDonald's, she went in there waving a gun because they didn't give her a cookie. I mean, really? You gotta be kidding me, man. You can't make this shit up. Stupid. It is stupid. But yeah, y'all go ahead and tell me, drop some comments, man, down below. Tell me what you thought of this video. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll be getting with you guys in the next one. Y'all, please be good to yourself. By all means, let's be good to one another. I'll talk to you later.